edge dozed off again. Well, I say again, that was actually the first time I did that. But I've just dreamt about the time I was being chased by that unknown assailant. I've got slightly more of a memory what happened exactly. I seem to vaguely remember some hole. Just before coming here. I don't know where that thing keeps coming from. I chucked it down here onto this floor a few nights ago, and it's been in that position since. But now it seems like it moved to that position. Well, who knows? Maybe I've held off this review long enough. I think I should probably get on with it. But before I do that, Happy Christmas to you all. We are here. Finally getting to something that's actually terrible. And why am I wearing a Christmas hat? Because it is Christmas time. However, it's probably not the best time to be talking about this specific film, because this specific film is not Christmassy, but I've been putting this off. And thanks to whoever it is leaving these things for me, I now have to review it. Twilight. Or more like yeah. I think you guys know what I'm on about there. Now, first of all, I'm going to start with the positives. Because believe it or not, as crap as this film is, there are a couple of positives here. I think Robert Pattinson, while his performance is not great, I can tell he's at least trying to get some energy out there, and plus his American accent is pretty good. I say his performance isn't great purely because he's just blank, just like his character. The best performance in this film is definitely Bella's dad, played by Billy Burke, and he definitely has the best performance here. To be honest, everyone who doesn't really put a good performance in this, I don't really blame them per se. I mean, they're kind of contractually obligated to be there, and the material they're given to work with is bloody dire. This isn't a dig at Stephanie Meyer or anything, but it's pretty bad. Harkening back to the positives, because this is supposed to be the positive section, it's a very nice looking film. All this scenery of all the forests and whatnot, stunning. But I do feel like this is purely style over substance. The rest of it is utter terribleness. There's not really a plot in this film per se. I mean, okay, there is one, but it's kind of shrunk into the last few minutes, which, as a film or a TV episode, you shouldn't really do that. I mean, sure, you do want to give your characters some time for the audience to get to know them, but don't do it at the cost of shrunkening the plot so you don't really know necessarily what's going on. The plot, as far as I can fathom, involves a tracker vampire, which is going around basically killing people. See, that plot on its own does actually sound fairly decent, and I bet you if it was just more focused on Bella's dad, if he was the main guy, you know, being this small town cop capturing demons and whatnot, yeah, it's a little supernaturally. I've not seen Supernatural, but I've heard it's pretty good. But it sounds much better than what we've got. Kristen Stewart was just completely blank. I mean, again, I don't blame her necessarily, but it's pretty terrible. I mean, you could change your face a little bit instead of just making this look. And some of the delivery was just terrible. Well, what's going on? It's ridiculously stupid. I'm sorry, but I've said that I don't really blame the cast, and I don't. But that delivery was pretty terrible. That's really all I'm gonna say about the cast, because I mean, most of them are pretty bad in this. But again, because of the material they're given to work with, I can't really say I blame them too much. Jacob is in this as well. He doesn't really serve much purpose, but he's pretty much just there to remind us all that there's going to be a love triangle, which, if I'm talking about more of these films, I'm going to have to mention that, aren't I? As if talking about Edward and Bella wasn't bad enough. I'm going to have to talk about that. Finish it! I'm getting on with it, okay? You better. That voice. It's weird. But I'll tell you what also is weird is the fact that Edward is a stalker. I mean, well, if you've seen this film and if you've seen many other reviews of it, you'll know that Edward is basically a stalker and Bella's fine with him being a stalker. Not to mention he's incredibly abusive. I mean, he's stalking her and then he's saying things Like, as if you can outrun me. Any other person in that situation, they would literally run away. Or at least they would try to run away. Not Bella though, because Bella is pretty dumb. There's a lot of continuity errors and plot holes in this film that I could just pick apart and whatnot, but the main meat of this film, the main problem, is definitely the Edward and Bella angle of it. Also, another big problem, why the hell does this vampire sparkle? I don't know. Okay, this is a bit of a ridiculous thing, but vampires shouldn't sparkle when they're in direct sunlight. Also, speaking of sunlight, there's a few scenes in this film where Edward is out in the sun, one of them being a moment where he's wearing sunglasses and he's out the front in the car park of the school. Why wasn't he sparkling then? Also, that climax was just completely bloated and not the best choreographed, I'm not gonna lie. That had sunlight going through the windows, didn't it? So why weren't they sparkling then? All the friends in this film, one of them played by Anna Kendrick, who, okay, I've given some of the cast crap here, but I've also said that some of them are not that bad. A lot of them, actually. I don't think Anna Kendrick is that bad. It's just the material she's given to work with, again, is completely awful. And that scene where they meet Bella for the first time. You moved here from Arizona, right? Or just whatever she says there. That scene just felt really awkward. And that's pretty much this movie in a nutshell. It's awkward. I mean, Bella meeting Edward's family, that's supposed to be awkward. I mean, someone who's not a vampire getting together with someone who is a vampire, because I pretty much refuse to believe that a vampire would be this lame, would then go on to meet this vampire's family. And I'm not gonna lie, some of them have gifts that I do actually think are quite cool. I'm not gonna lie, but is that really enough to save this film? Is it really enough to save the franchise as a whole? Nuh-uh. Because everything that's crap is just really crap. And I mean, I get it, it's personal opinion, but how did these films get so popular? I have no idea. I mean, I get that it's over 10 years ago now, but blimey, Twilight is over 10 years ago. Thank goodness for that. But how has Twilight gotten as popular as it has? Popular enough to get its own film adaptation? It boggles me. It really does. I mean, if anyone has any answers to that, just feel free to let me know in the comments. It's a pretty bad film. And it's not so much because it has a sparkling vampire, but because it romanticises things like stalking and necrophilia, paedophilia. Oh yeah, the moment where Bella is being watched by Edward as she's sleeping. He essentially breaks into her house, pretty much. I mean, he doesn't smash a window or anything, obviously, but he breaks into her house and watches her sleep. That's creepy. Almost a bit like someone else, for that matter. But anyway, this is a terrible relationship. It's pretty abusive. I've heard that because of this film, a lot of women have been going back to their abusive partners. And that's not okay. It's really not okay. I just hope a lot of people have learnt since then, and hopefully people as they grow up won't be too affected by this film or any of the others. That being said though, I wouldn't be surprised if this franchise had something to do with some people nowadays, well, being as bad as they are. You know, you get loads of people who think they're so entitled to everything, and you also do get a lot of people who are stuck in these relationships and they feel like they can't really get out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Twilight films had something to do with that. If maybe they saw it and they thought it was okay to start off with. It's not okay. Stalking, necrophilia, paedophilia, it's all not okay. It's wrong on loads of levels. I feel like, again, no disrespect to anyone behind the films. I don't mean to disrespect anyone, but I'm sorry, but this franchise is a monstrosity, and I'm hoping after this review I won't have to talk about Twilight again. I suppose in a way I didn't, but something has made me do it. For his amusement, or its amusement, or whatever. And this entity has been watching me, like Edward has been watching Bella. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. I, of course, give Twilight a 1 out of 10. Happy Christmas to you all. I'm glad that's over with. Now I'll get on to better stuff. But before I do that, I must do something else. Well, I've mentioned that there are plot holes in this review. And to be fair, there are plot holes in several other stuff that I've talked about, like Doctor Who Resolution. Speaking of plot holes, actually, there's one thing I am meant to do. Well, I say meant to. It had something to do with that dream I had last night about what happened at the start of the first episode, being shot at by that unknown assailant. It does mean I have to go back out there, this time without Midget Dalek. I definitely needed him during this review. Especially as it is Christmas time, but that's a separate thing. I'm gonna get rid of the skeleton and the mask before the entity stops me and does anything worse. And who knows, I bet you the minute I go back out there, it might be broad daylight again. In fact, it will be. I'm calling it now. But I'll be too busy getting rid of this guy and this guy. So, wish me luck, gentlemen. Wish me luck, ladies. If I don't make it back alive, I hope you have a good Christmas, and if Midget Dalek shows up, just tell him I've gone to a space supermarket or whatever. You know what? Tell him I've gone to Narnia. Good luck. This, don't know if you can see it, but this is the hole I found out. Of course it's coming back to me now. You two can't do any damage anymore. I'm glad that's over with. That was a painful few hours. Or at least it felt like a few hours. I'm sorry if you guys can't see my face, but unfortunately these lights are not working right now. They've decided to literally play up on me, almost as if all the power had gone. Literally only these Christmas tree lights and the bathroom lights are the only ones that are working. I think I just heard something in there. You know who I am. You know the answer to that too. Because it's fun. You are my prisoner now. You are my puppet. You are my property. Do not struggle, or your friend will die at your hands. Now walk forward.
Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away, Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is their song, with joyful ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from